Good evening and welcome to Bronx Talk. If you watch the news on TV, there is a story about floods, fires, tornadoes, hurricanes, all kinds of climate change disasters literally every single day. Here in the Bronx, in particular, in our shoreline communities, there is great concern, especially with the White House attack on initiatives to fight climate change. And so while there are global issues we can't seem to control directly, tonight's guests believe that there are initiatives that can be effective on the local level. And this past Earth Week in April, they've awarded 17 grants across the city, specifically for NYCHA developments, 3 in the Bronx. So tonight we look at what we can do when it comes to supporting our Bronx environment. Please join me in welcoming the Director of Urban Engagement for the New York Climate Exchange. It is Ms. Vicki Cerullo. Ms. Cerullo, nice to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And the tenant leader from the Morris Houses, who's also the founder of Repurposed Life, Inc., it is Ms. Regina Carter. Ms. Carter, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Ms. Cerullo, let's start with you. Just so people can get their grounding, and not to pun, but get their grounding, who is the New York Climate Exchange?
Sure. The New York Climate Exchange is a new nonprofit. We're based on Governor's Island, and it's an initiative led by Stony Brook in response to a call from the mayor.
Stony Brook as in Stony Brook University?
Stony Brook University, yes.
How interesting.
Yes. You know, the mayor put out a call for a climate solutions hub on Governor's Island that would accelerate climate solutions across the city and the globe. Stony Brook led the charge. We have 48 partners, 11 academic, 3 corporate, IBM, Moody's, BCG, and 33 community partners. And we're building out a climate campus on Governor's Island to do this work, which, as you said, is very important.
Very important. Just to put it out right away, do you feel like you're getting somewhere? Because, you know, I just described, which everybody sees. I mean, the world is in a bad way. If you look at the health, not the emotional health, but the physical health, I mean, we're really, you know, let's see, New York is hotter, it's rainier, it's wetter, there's more wind. We don't usually get like a nice rainfall. Every rainfall is a storm of some sort. Do you feel like you're getting somewhere, or is it a constant struggle because we still have much more to do?
Well, there's a lot of work to do, and you know what keeps us going and keeps us motivated is really this multidisciplinary approach that the exchange takes with all different types of partners and working with our community partners. You mentioned local solutions.
She goes like this to nudge Ms. Carter.
Yes, but we know residents know their communities best, and a lot of the solutions here in New York City have emerged, they're evolving, and we think we can support them and then actually replicate them in other communities.
One of the phrases I pulled up from doing a little background was that it's part think tank and part do tank. Let's get to the think. We know we've already established what we're thinking about. What is the do part of it? What do you do now? I guess we can start talking about the grants that you provided, and I presume will still provide.
Sure. Well, we have a focus on finance, data, and urban resilience. But this partnership actually came about with the Public Housing Community Fund that supports NYCHA residents. They're a nonprofit organization. It really came to us to, you know, knowing that we have these great partners, came to us in collaboration for technical assistance. You know, as I said, we know residents know their communities best. We really wanted to surface the best ideas across NYCHA campuses to say, what are the solutions that you think will work in your community? How can we support them? And then let's do it. And that's what we've done with this program.
I'm going to ask Ms. Carter a lot about that, but we'll give you one last shot at it. It's fascinating that you started with NYCHA, or that you're going through NYCHA, because this is, let's put it this way, you know, what do we have, 300 projects across the city. This is a forgotten community of thousands of people, and tens of thousands. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me. And so this was a way of being as grassroots Bronx as you can get.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, when I read about this and learned about this, I was like, wow, this is where the blood and guts of the Bronx really is.
Well, look, I'm a native New Yorker. You know, over 500,000 of our neighbors live in NYCHA. And so to not engage the NYCHA community just wouldn't make sense. And so for us, this was a great partnership, great opportunity. And as I said, there are great solutions that were right here in the community that we wanted to uplift elevate and support.
Ms. Carter, let's just talk about, we'll talk about Morris Houses in a bit, where you are the tenant leader. But what is repurposed life? My life, I don't know that I'm repurposing it. But what is it, and you're the founder, what was the idea?
Repurposed Life is a community initiative. It's resident-led, and all of my volunteers are residents. We all come together with this one thought of there being so much waste in New York City and so many people.
Physical waste.
Physical waste, furniture,
People
clothing.
talk about financial waste, but
Furniture, clothing, housewares, all of those kinds of things that still work, but this particular person, they want to get rid of it for whatever reason. Maybe it doesn't fit the feng shui of their apartment anymore. And so we go around and we collect these items, and we have a community closet. It's a traveling community closet where we go into different neighborhoods and we set up tables and racks of clothing, and people come and shop the closet. Everything's free, but we set it up to look like a store.
And is it successful? Does it work? I'm going to presume, given the way the New York City economy is right now, people are thrilled to get a little cabinet or something that might fit, whether style-wise or otherwise, that there's a need. We had a new child, so we need a crib or something like that. You know, all those things are real for people in New York.
Definitely. We have seen lots of success all across New York and in the Bronx.
75,000 pounds of stuff you've delivered. But the other thing, and there you can see...
That was last year. This year we've, like in April alone, we had 42 26-foot trucks of college dorm room furniture.
Wow, 42 26-foot trucks.
Yeah, so it was ballpark over 2,000 pieces, 300 wardrobes, 300 desks with the chairs, the twin-size beds with the frame and the mattress and everything, and it left.
Wow. To me, one of the most exciting things, aside from the fact that there is a repurposing going on, I like the kind of the social energy of it, that people share. You are building community that way. And let's just say you collect them at Morris Houses, you collect some stuff. How far away do you go, or is it really just so local because the need in the Bronx is so great?
The need in the Bronx is great, but we've gone as far as Brooklyn to do pop-ups and distribute furniture and housewares and clothing.
Seniors and people with disabilities find your program particularly useful?
Yes. A lot of our seniors and people with disabilities survive on a fixed income. And so getting a dresser, for example, isn't within their price range because they have to buy their diabetes medication and the insurance isn't covering it.
And all the other burdens they might have. And this really works out. You know, Ms. Cerullo, we're doing a show about the climate and the environment in the Bronx. How does this fit within that framework?
Sure, absolutely.
Could you say, well, wait, all right, so you're trading furniture or something, but where does the notion of climate and environment come in?
Sure. Well, all of the furniture that gets distributed and, residents can shop and take back to their home is furniture that then is diverted from our waste stream. So that's furniture that's not going into a landfill, that's not burdening our communities in other ways.
Or being on the side of the highway. Actually, last week, just coincidentally, I hadn't thought about this, but we did a show with Assemblymember Landon Dace, who just cleaned up that hill over the Harlem River in Highbridge, and it took him 5 years to get all the garbage out. That's the kind of thing that maybe we wouldn't have if we even expanded Repurposed Life or something like that. Is it a hard sell, Ms. Carter, to get people involved?
No.
To get them to volunteer? It's one thing, people want to take the furniture, I get it, but
a lot of my volunteers are people who have previously received, so they see the worth in it, in furnishing their homes, and then turning around and saying, you know what, this is amazing. I also want to be a part of this. So they'll come in and they'll help sort clothes. They offer to drive the vehicle. They'll do pickups for me. it's been a whirlwind.
You know, as you know, I've been doing this here at BronxTalk for a long time, but on BronxNet television, defining the people of the Bronx is a thing that we do all the time. This, to me, really cuts to the core of how much the people of the Bronx want to improve their own neighborhoods, that they're good people and giving people, and they want to share. This to me is, you know, congratulations for what you do, but I just think it really cuts to the identity of who we as people really are. So, and you see that all the time, I guess, because people come out and say, yeah, this is a cool thing. It's us, it's our community, it's our stuff, and they want to help. Ms. Cerullo, let's, we talk, the number is 500,000 New Yorkers live in the 300 NYCHA projects. Let's talk about the climate grant. Now, it's not a ton of money, it's $5,000. Describe the program, describe why you do it, and what we did. I guess you had 17 winners in April during Earth Day or Earth Week at that time. So do it. What do you got?
Yeah. So we held a competition. Residents had to apply for this grant and talk a bit about why it was important to them, why it mattered to the community, why and how it was sustainable. And so we had a jury. We had some judges made up of our exchange partners who, you know, were really excited about this.
No, oh, she couldn't be because that's right. All right, I was just asking.
Pratt Institute, one of our partners, Earth Matter, which is an incredible partner of ours, Green City Forest, Goals. These are all partners that came together, our CUNY partners, right? And so we awarded these in collaboration, once again, with the Public Housing Community Fund. And the projects really ran the gamut from Regina's project to, we have a cohort of community gardens, really teaching residents about composting, growing community vegetables. We have art and storytelling projects, so they're all very different and varied. You know, another project in the Bronx, at Clay Avenue, around STEAM careers, so really educating young people around what green careers are. They've partnered with the New York Power Authority on that program as well. So a lot of great ideas. We wanted to surface the best. And then the grant is really meant to jumpstart, right, support the project.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Bless you. And, you know, Regina's project really has just taken off by leaps and bounds. So for us, we really saw it as seed money, investing in Regina's idea, that now we're, you know, seeing she's getting other nonprofit support. So it's just a way to get it started. And more grants are coming Regina's way. I know if you're interested in supporting Regina, she's also
yes,
make
you can say it.
You know, she started a 501c3, a nonprofit, and so that's really incredible work.
It's incredible, and it must be inspiring. Should I ask how many you got, or because some people had to be rejected or didn't win?
Yeah, we got quite a few. I mean, we got more than we anticipated, so we got close to, I would say, 100 applications. And what we're also doing is, you know, providing a community. And so we want to make sure that Regina and the Bronx, other NYCHA residents who are leading this work in other parts of the city, are all connected with one another because they're sustainability leaders, they're climate leaders in their communities.
Because they get it conceptually. I mean, and that's what I was talking about the value of what was going on over there. So let's see, at Morris Houses, the project, what I was very excited about, you used summer youth employment youngsters. The words were strengthens community resilience by centering resident needs and youth leadership. Talk about young people, again, a hard sell to them, and how young are we talking? We're talking about high school age?
We're talking about high school age. It's my first year being able to accept summer youth kids. It's been fun. They are their own challenge, and I love teaching them about this work, about, I feel, and I've said this before, that we underestimate our youth, and they are so much smarter and capable of so much more than the outside looking in.
What do you mean by that? But then people who look at them from the outside?
From the outside, yeah.
Yes, of
you
course.
see these
because
kids in the
people
street.
in the world think they're
and-
all gang members and all that. But there are so many young people who really want to do the right thing. They've learned stuff in school and they want to see it happen
Yes.
in their community. They want to improve their community.
And I love being that opportunity for them to do that.
And what kinds of things do you have them do?
So with my nonprofit, we do a lot of, we do pickups, we do the distributions, and the youth collect the names on the lines. So they'll have this opportunity to engage one-on-one with people in the community, all different walks of life. I think it teaches them like how to talk to people, how to engage, period.
So I made a list and I looked at all the different projects. So now at Claremont Consolidated, right? You mentioned the steam-powered clay family day. I'll ask you to, what do you know what that is? What is the steam?
We were there together, actually.
We were there
Oh,
together. Miss Forbes, who's the Tenants Association president at Claremont.
Right.
It's a yearly event. It's their second annual one that's been STEAM focused. They do STEAM kits where the kids are like doing robotics in the street and these wind-powered like paper clips.
Well,
and
welcome to the Bronx, ladies and gentlemen. The Bronx people don't know about. But what is interesting to me, and I started the program saying, well, wait a minute, how can we can't directly affect, the policies coming out of Washington. But this is a way to move it forward because they introduce families to the world of green careers and sustainability-focused learning.
Yes.
So and how is that done? Is that done with communication through schools, or you just do the learning because they're sitting there doing robotics in the street? I'm just talking specifically
There's a
about
lot of different activities there, right? There's robotics. SWAT came out and they had the robot that does the bomb squad stuff.
that. What a great education.
The kids just had way fun with it.
And listen, my friends in the media, boy, I didn't see that covered anywhere. We got to get out there and deal with that. And one thing I do want to say, because without making the assumption, STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Yes.
So
That's right.
That's what that is.
We have the arts in there now
Yes.
because it's important. It's part of the
It's
equation.
that's an understatement to say how important it is. You talked about partnerships with local organizations. Now, I realize NYCHA is one of them, but how do those work, and how does that interact with the New York Climate Exchange?
Sure. Well, like I said, we have 33 community partners, and so it's every organization from We Act, environmental justice groups, to labor, right, to Waterfront Alliance, the Climate Museum. And so what we're doing is really bringing everyone together around this hub. Solar One, we have a program that we're launching focused on data, how we can educate young people who are already in the program to learn about, as they do the solar installation, how to collect data, what it really means, what you can do with it. To also help train young people for careers. And not every climate career, people aren't sure what's a green job, right? New York City has this Green Economy Action Plan, but it's so broad. It's not just installing solar panels, and we want to expose young people to all of those opportunities.
What's very interesting, and again, back to what I had said at the beginning, this is all going on, and you're doing it enthusiastically, and you're building community, and yet, of course, we're hearing about drill, and we again, what I said at the top, we see what's going on. There's some hope in here, right? I'm trying to find it myself. There is some hope here, and of course, it always starts with the Bronx, as far as I'm concerned. But the people of the Bronx really have a sense of unity about it.
Look, whatever happens at the federal level, cities have always been on the front lines of climate change. This is not a new issue for New York City. Other parts of the world, we experienced Superstorm Sandy, we experienced Ida. And so I think it's even more important for cities to really come together, continue the work, and then work with all of these partners that we have that I've mentioned to really continue work together in new ways. I think that's what we've been realizing. Collaboration is key, especially at this moment. and just move the work forward. That's
You,
what we're
you
doing.
know, I want to get back to you in a moment about Governor's Island, which is a whole larger thing. And folks, if you never took the ferry out there, go to Governor's Island, you'll have a great
We
time.
have a new electric ferry too. Which
Oh,
is
an
very
electric
exciting.
ferry. I
Yes.
wasn't aware of that. All right. I took the New York
Just-
City ferry over this weekend, as a matter of fact. But I just want to get back to the notion of music. Let's see. This is Morris 1 and 2 houses. Use the power of music and storytelling to inspire climate action. Explain to me about what kinds of things. You're looking quizzically. You unaware? You know more about
Yeah,
it.
another project. You know, for us, you know, you're not always going to get people interested in these topics, right? By doing a scientific panel discussion or some, you know,
Or even a TV show on BronxNet about.
some of us are
climate
wonkier than others, right? Including myself.
Right.
And so how can we start talking about these topics in ways that really meet people where they are? And sometimes that's through the arts, right? Through music. And that's what this program is hoping to do. A leader who's really interested in, you know, educating our neighbors on climate, but it happens through the arts, and that bringing people together. And to what you were speaking about, creating social resilience within a community. So arts is a key part of that.
So let's talk about Governor's Island. There's an effort to build a globally renowned campus on Governor's Island. So what do you have, and then what's the dream? And there's plenty of space out there. Again, folks, if you've never done it, take the ferry, take the kids. You'll have a good time. And you'll see a place in New York that maybe you've never seen. There's a lot of room out there to do stuff. She's
That's-
smiling. She agrees.
Well, you said part think tank, part do tank, and there is a lot to do. And you know, we are building a campus. We expect to break ground next year.
And what is that? What's going to be on that campus?
So this is going to be a place. There will be some adaptive reuse of, if you've been to Governor's Island, Liggett Hall. So what eventually we'll have students who will be there and then able to take courses at the campus. But the new construction will be labs, it will be open space, it will be a place where we can hold large convenings. You know, we held an event on Governor's Island for Earth Day with this cohort, and we were able to workshop ideas. And so it will be a place really for the public, for our programs, for academic research, lab space, and also large convenings where we can, you know, you mentioned Climate Week coming up. Will be this flagship space for those kinds of discussions and bringing international visitors here.
And so there's a physical thing being created, and then of
Correct.
course there's the programming. Do we talk about timing? Do we you say now we're breaking ground next year? You said in 2026. Okay.
We work very closely with the Trust for Governor's Island. You know, they were really the ones who came up with this idea for the island itself to be this climate hub. So they're
How exciting! I'm sorry, especially given the dialogue that's out there and how difficult it is to get, frankly, what I think is sensible dialogue about it. And this is real forward motion.
right in New York City, right? You have Governor's Island. You can see Wall Street from across the way. You can see the Red Hook houses.
Oh, it's
so the
gorgeous.
residents
I
who
mean, there's
come-
no question about it.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, one of the things that is so interesting to me is that there is a, you know, there's you folks doing this. I guess the thing is how to really make it so that people believe it and stop listening to the nonsense that says climate change doesn't cause like tornadoes and floods and everything else.
Well, as New Yorkers, we're experiencing climate change every day, so I don't think that many of us need to be convinced here, but it's how, you know, we can find these solutions. Or even, you know, you talk about the building, we're working with Skanska, their our construction manager, SOM, our designers, but we're really using the building as an opportunity to even introduce new sustainable building materials that can help us withstand the impacts of climate change. Using mass timber, powering it by geothermal sources, a solar canopy. And we will be demonstrating through the actual building of our campus what that looks
you
like.
know, I was just thinking about the number of solar opportunities there are, and people who own buildings and may have co-ops and they don't know, gee, we'd like to do that, but how do we do it? Having a place to go and find all the resources and having consultation. I'm excited. I am darn excited. When is 2026 coming? Ms. Carter, let's start wrapping it up and talk with you about, so what's next? I mean, you're doing all this, you've expanded the program, you got all the trucks and all that. What do you expect next?
Well, we do a lot of renting, right, for the trucks
Right.
when we go to do pickups. So hopefully we're going to get a grant that'll help us get a truck.
She does one of these, nudging the person next to her.
You know, the truck. Maybe a storage space, because that'll be easier for us to
Wow.
process donations and more organized events instead of doing pop-ups. It could be like a monthly thing where
That to me, this whole concept, and that's why we took the time to do it, this whole concept is just wonderful. It's forward thinking. It's solution driven, because we want to solve. We all know it was 95 degrees half the summer, which is unlike in my whole life. We never had. Thank you for doing it. And so, Ms. Cerullo, let's talk about Climate Week. Now, people may they know Earth Day is the 20th of April. We know that. Climate Week is the main global climate event. Sunday, September 21st to Sunday, September 28th. You can see climateweek.org on the website. Talk about Climate Week and why I'm going to make the assumption that you're excited about it.
Yeah, so Climate Week always happens alongside the UN General Assembly. So there's a lot of visitors here in New York City, and also ways that we want to engage our local communities as well as that international audience. We'll be hosting a lot of events on Governor's Island. Also we are hosting a showcase of all of the projects that you mentioned.
Oh, that's exciting. And where that is going to be on Governor's Island?
That will be actually at the Brooklyn Botanic Garden.
Oh, there you
They've
go.
really
Okay.
been an incredible partner too, and wanted to partner with us on this showcase. So that will be
Wow,
on the
how
Tuesday.
exciting.
Yeah, so it'll be a public event, so you'll be able to find out about all of our events on our website. But really a great opportunity to showcase the work of our partners and what we're doing, and also participate and be thought leaders on international issues, right? We talked about finance, data. We'll be hosting a lot of events around those topics.
This has got to be rewarding, even though you're not getting to the end yet. We're not where we need to be, but you're involved in real forward motion.
Look, there are solutions, and that's why we wake up every day. You can't just focus on the negative. We're making change in New
We
York
believe
City.
the solutions are with the people of the Bronx, and Regina Carter, thank you so much, and Vicki Cerullo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're trying to save the world. That's what we're trying to do. We appreciate you joining us on Bronx Talk. And that'll conclude tonight's program. We thank our producer, it's Rebecca Hemmich, does a great job. Our BronxNet production and editing crew also does a great job. But it's always about you two, the people of the Bronx. That's what's most important. We'll see you next time. Good night.